In what ways have you participated in the Action Research Project? Jenny and I were in it from the beginning with Sarah and Gillinson, and we ended up, in terms of activity, doing the distribution of cards, the 10, what was it now?
Top 10 reasons to visit
your
local
library.
library branch.
Distributed the cards.
I wrote it. I wrote the card. Frank didn't come to the meeting that day.
I was busy. I'm running a branch. Experience.
Weren't you in Barbados that week?
I think I was, and actually Sarah knew that. So it's not a secret. Tell me a little bit about your experience with the distribution of the postcards. So obviously you knew that was what our job was. But we also realized that depending on what time of day we did it, we would attract a certain type of person. Like we were going to do it in the morning, so if we got it between the two, between the library and Muhlenberg at Barnes & Noble, it would have been between 10 and 12, and a lot of people would have been to work already, so we got people that weren't working that day. So we decided, is that when we decided to actually just sort of do a circuit in the area, sort of
canvas both neighborhoods.
The word is canvas.
At different
correct.
times, on different days. That's not actually how it worked out, though.
Right. One day it was rainy or something, so we just, But the day was interesting. We did a lot.
Do you remember what day of the week it was? I think it was a Wednesday, maybe a Thursday. But we met in the
Friday.
morning. Was it? No, it wasn't a Friday.
Was it? No?
No.
Okay.
Thursday. It was a Thursday.
Are you sure?
Yes, because when we got back to Muhlenberg, it was my surprise going away party.
That's right. And I also said, because this just comes in a minute, feedback, that woman asked me about toddler time. I said, right now the toddler time is going on in the library.
Right,
That's
okay.
right.
Hold that.
All right, so...
But we met early, so it was like maybe 11 to 1.
Yeah, we wanted to get the
No, we
lunch
didn't.
crowd.
Yeah.
We wanted to avoid
I got back
people
to
being able
Muhlenberg
to
at
work.
2. So we were out probably from like
And we
11
had lunch,
to
because then
1:30.
they gave you another one when you got back to Muhlenberg.
Right.
It was, the card that says 10 is big.
Oh, right.
And we had discussed this, how free should have been bigger. I mean, that's a word, that will attract. It's almost like saying sex. We should say free sex this time. But people want to know, even if they're vaguely interested, it's like, I just have to know what's free. We went to this coffee shop across the street, and we were nervous, admittedly, like wondering what we should do. And I saw a guy at the internet computer, and he had finished his appointment and was walking out of the coffee shop, and I just said, just let's do it. So I said, did you use the internet here? And he said, yes. And I said, did you know that we have, and I told him at the library, which is right across the street, and it turned out he was actually the salesman/technician of those computers in the coffee shop, so
Servicing them.
he was not exactly a
He did say that he was
potential
aware
client.
there was free internet access across the street.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I was hoping to get a real patron, and he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you had internet there," and it would have been more of a success than it was. And the coffee guy behind the counter, I was giving him a card, and he said he actually said he uses his boyfriend's card. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "You shouldn't do that. They're non-transferable." But he had a card, or he used the library, so that was there. But I mean, then we put some on tables, because there were some tables in the coffee shop. And then we moved on to
Washington Square Park.
which was partially closed because they were doing renovations on it.
We attempted to engage some people on the street, sort of on our way, like the Greenpeace kids or the Children's International people, and people either ignored us or sort of fled.
And the one Jenny walked right up to, she said, "Do you know?" We were trying different ways of approaching people, because at first we would say things like, "Do you have a library card?" And it's a little bit...
That's a don't.
Right, exactly. It's sort of like, "Get away from me." A little bit more, not so aggressive is good. Because Jenny had said to these two women, "Do you know what that building is?" Because we were right across the street from Jefferson Market. And a lot of people don't know it's a library, they think it's a church. And they were from Italy.
Like, we're from out of town.
So we were not looking out there.
That leads to a lesson later that we learned. About how to weed out the tourists.
Yeah, because there's a lot in this neighborhood, and Chelsea too. And we had our greatest moment of success in learning
At the entrance to the subway in Union Square
We sort of did like the Greenpeace kids, like they are facing each other on the street so they get people going both ways.
We stood on either side of
the stairs. So people were coming out far more than they were going in, it seemed. And you had a conversation with a young man who was asking about the library who lived in Queens, and you gave him the appropriate appropriate direction.
Yep.
And
we took hour sheets with us. We took a list of all the branch libraries with their hours, and we didn't give out as many of those, but it was good to have it when someone did ask, well, I live in Queens, but I work near here, what library? And sometimes you don't always know. So that was important to have some supporting information.
And I did get caught up in this strange moment. Is that what you're laughing about?
What kind of feedback did you receive from the public during card distribution?
Well, one woman, of course, actually was like, she was hovering around, not because of us, she was just hovering. And so I said to her, delete. At this point, it wasn't, do you have a library card? It was,
free.
See, it was free
Free
at the
at
library.
the library.
The word free was
Free
a big catch.
library over and over.
And she said she had a lot of fines. So I said, come to Jefferson Market. So she already had a library card. As Jenny discovered the free aspect, as they were coming out of the subway, people would oftentimes, more often than not, put their hand out and just take it. And then got the sense that they were going to walk a while and investigate what it was later. But they heard free, and that was the initial impulse, and they thought, I'll figure out if I want this free thing. No, not later, is how I interpreted it.
So some lessons that we learned there was that it was really important for us to be stationary instead of sort of approaching people on the street as we were walking.
That's a very aggressive act if you walk up to somebody, in the city especially.
And maybe t-shirts or some kind of a sign, Frank talked about a sign which you can get into, or a picture of the library would be another way, but because we didn't have that, we had to establish before they even got to us that they might be interested in what we were talking about. So that was sort of us, calling out free or check out what we have for you at your library. As they were coming up the stairs, they heard that, and if they were a tourist or they already had a library card, they sort of self-weeded, and the people who put their hands out for the cards were the people who wanted to know what was free at their library.
And a lot were taken, enough to make us feel sort of pretty
If we had spent the whole day maybe doing certain subway stops, we could have given away all of those cards.
Two things happened. This is so New York, because it's actually, just briefly, we did try another subway stop, but then I've never seen it. A street fight broke out between girls, and it was
really horrible,
viciously violent. It wasn't even funny. This businessman in the car was so upset he was yelling out the car, and Jenny was like, "This is it for the corner." So New York happens. It's
no one's paying attention to us.
The picture on her blog is at that stop. I took the picture, and then this fight broke out. But the other thing that happened at the Union Square stop that was interesting was that I sort of got caught up in my own message and got caught up in the logic of it, because I said,
get a free library
A woman
card.
was coming up who looked very receptive, and I said, free, see what free it's at your library, get a free library card. And then I realized in my head, I thought, they're already free. And I said, well, they're already free. And she laughed and took it and said, yeah, they are free. And I just sort of got confused as to what exactly I was selling. Because the whole point of the cards was to have them bring it in to get the card.
But really what we were marketing was not that a card is free, but that all this stuff is free with your card.
Right.
I mean, you asked what I enjoyed the most about it. It was spending the day with you, remembering and getting really excited about the library. I mean, I think there's, beyond sort of that it's good for the city and it's good for our users, there's a component of it really being good for the staff too. And I know staff is tight and whatever, but taking some time to sort of get out of the branch and get in touch with their community. We just went around our neighborhoods where our libraries are, which are neighborhoods that we're in every day. And you have to believe in the library and believe in what the library is doing to promote it. And so it was really nice to sort of step back from the daily grind and say, we're not asking you for anything. We have all this great stuff to give you, which forced us to sort of remember all of the things that the library is about and why we're at the New York Public Library. And there is kind of, I think, a staff morale component to this that,
I think so too, because I was scared. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to it and couldn't wait for the day. I was sort of nervous, trepidatious, I think I was going to say. But then you warm up. Oh my God, absolutely. By the end of it, totally. Oh my God, totally. And then I'm thinking actually.
And they can tell. They would probably we were so horrible in the beginning because we were really nervous.
But I'm thinking of certain staff
fun,
members who
were having fun with us.
Yeah, certain staff members who'd be like, "No, I'm not doing that." Once they warmed up, I bet it feels good to get out of the branch and sort of talk to people. I think people would enjoy it.